for 2020, 4 Business Aspects to Fine-Tune to Ring in New Success by Carrie Fivecoat Campbell. If self-storage owners and managers had a crystal ball, they may be able to plan for the coming year easily. However, that is never the case. Planning takes a lot of foresight as well as consideration of what's been happening in the market for the past 2 years. Cycles come and go, and in this cycle has been nothing short of extraordinary, says Maurice Pagoda, president of Pagoda Companies in Farmington Hills, Michigan. Pagoda, who has been in the self-storage industry since 1987, has had a lot of experience in reading the writing on the wall. We have seen double-digit increases until last year, says Pagoda. The merry-go-round is slowing down, and we're at the end of the cycle. Pagoda adds that it wasn't unusual to see a 12 to 13% year increase during the beginning of this cycle, which happened as the economy was recovering from the recession. While Pagoda is still seeing increases, they are more in line with years prior to this upcycle. It is still healthy, and from our standpoint, we will still be seeing growth and not going backwards, but it's definitely slowing down, he says. M. Ann Ballard, president of Marketing, Training, and Development Services with the Universal Storage Group in Atlanta, Georgia, agrees. Although double digits were the norm until last year, they are more likely to see 3 to 5% increases this year. The onslaught of new competition is going to change the rate of same sales increases in a lot of markets, says Ballard. The trick is to plan on how to remain steady while adjusting to new competition and higher costs. Ballard points out that in markets such as Charlotte, North Carolina, many operators are already starting to see flat numbers for this year. In addition to having many new competitors, Carol Mixon-Crendel, president of SkillCheck Services in Tucson, Arizona, is the fact that there have been plenty of consolidations of properties this year. A lot of the REITs and larger owners are looking for storage properties to invest in, and a lot of longtime owners have sold part or all of their portfolios to larger companies. The beauty for the REITs is that they dominate the internet, and the smaller owners have a hard time competing with that. There are many things owners and operators can do to help plan on at least staying on track for the slower growth rates, says the expert. Planning for the most properties will be about trying to save money. Here are some tips. Anticipate higher costs in almost every area. One thing incredibly hard in our markets is that Georgia has a 3.6% unemployment rate, while South Carolina is sitting at 3.2%, says Ballard. That is great for the overall economy, but it may mean it's challenging to find quality employees, and when we do, we are likely to have to pay more for them, says Ballard. Of course, your general manager is the heart of your operation. A great manager helps you make the budget, says Ballard. You need a professional behind the desk to bring in your profit. In most cases, this sounds like a complicated scenario, but it's really an easy fix. In most stores, managers aren't doing the selling, Ballard says. They're sitting behind the desk just answering the phones. Keeping this in mind, part of the Universal planning for 2020, which began at least several months ago, is fine-tuning their training program. We are always looking at our training programs, and right now we are planning on where we need to concentrate the laser focus for that. Ballard has also advocated for her managers getting out in the streets and making calls to apartment and condo complexes, contracting, and professional businesses. Pagoda has eliminated the need for their managers to concentrate on selling by phone by employing call centers. We're convinced our managers are better served doing other things, says Pagoda. In addition to anticipating high employee costs, Ballard says they are also facing higher property taxes on many of their properties. While there isn't much you can do about higher property taxes except maybe file a protest, you will need to be aware of your property tax rate increase to adequately plan. Making the most of the internet. Another project we are working on is focusing on our website transactions and the cost per click, says Ballard. We have done some things that have increased our sales on the website. One main area of focus in instituting an automatic pay price scraping to the closest competitors. We take a look at their standards online specials. We don't want to do just once a month now. We are taking a look at it twice per week and adjusting the prices if we have the inventory. One thing everyone agrees on is that the online shopper is typically the most price sensitive, so they are keeping their discounting limited to online deals and not in-store walk-ins. Pagoda is focusing more on the look of their website and making sure they are updated and offer customer convenience. According to Mixon-Crendel, one area many store managers overlook is the power of social media, as well as staying on top of the reviews customers and others are leaving online. Your managers must be paying attention to those reviews and responding to them, says Mixon-Crendel. Many don't respond to reviews, but this is critical, even if you're a small operator. However, it is also important that you managers are responding in a customer-friendly way. Your company may want to take a look at the appropriate responses and how to handle bad reviews. One way to plan for the next year is to make sure you're reviewing your reports and not becoming complacent. When things are going like crazy, everyone tends to get a bit fat and happy, says Pagoda. Mix and Credle echoes this advice. I sometimes do a lot of auditing on properties, and because people aren't paying attention, there's been a lot of theft. Owners sometimes aren't watching close enough, and that creates more theft. When things are going well and occupancy is high, they tend not to look at the reports closely enough. Capital improvements. While it may seem counterintuitive to spend money on a property that may have flat sales or increases that are less than they have been, Ballard and other experts agree this is one of the main ways in which to keep the sales at least steady. Our managers have submitted their lists, says Ballard. The most challenging part is that owners don't want to spend the money, but some owners need a reality check. When the market is so tight, you can't wait for your property to fall apart to spend money. In fact, it costs more in the long run to wait, and properties will lose customers in the interim. Pagoda agrees. We have been upgrading with landscaping and other things to look at it with a fresh eye. It's what we call the broken window theory. If there are cigarette butts and paper on the ground, it's an invitation for the property to become more trash. Other improvements that should be considered in a tight market with new competitions includes a fresh coat of paint on the building and the doors, and upgrading the camera and security systems, keypads, locks, and gate. Another upgrade that can be done in phases if necessary is lighting. Lighting can be upgraded to LED, which will lower utility costs as well as brighten the property, says Ballard. Electronic locks are also a great way to save on labor costs. In a nutshell, the key to planning for 2020 will be balancing your existing customers and new customer rentals, which include managing online specials while finding some way to keep expenses flat or lower in some areas, as well as keeping the property in top shape to compete with the new competition. You want to make sure you're still in competition with the other properties in your area, says Pagoda. This includes making sure you're well positioned on the marketing side and walk the walk to be the best.